Hello, everybody. It's really terrific to be talking to you from APEC. I've been here since the beginning of the week. We started with the ministerial meetings. So Minister Jolie and I were here doing the ministerial part of the work before the Leaders Summit. And you heard the Prime Minister talk about an accomplishment that we have made as part of Canada's Indo-Pacific strategy and our work with Indonesia. Very pleased that we have concluded, substantively concluded, a free trade agreement with Indonesia. Why is this important to Canadians? Well, Indonesia is the fourth largest country by population in the world, of just under 280 million people. It is dynamic, it is young. I can't count the number of times I've been to Indonesia or this region now in this work, but a really excellent accomplishment in the negotiating of that agreement. I will be in Indonesia for the first week in December with a Canada trade mission. It's going to be the largest trade mission. About 300 people will be coming with me on that trade mission. So in fact, not only have we concluded trade negotiations, but businesses are interested in coming into this region. Indeed, they will in a few weeks from now. So very proud about the work that has been done over the past number of years in this region to advance, to really put into reality parts of our Indo-Pacific strategy, particularly around trade.
Minister, thanks for taking our question.
Hey, Dylan.
I wanted to ask about the the nuclear project that was announced today. We know that AI takes a lot of energy. Can you please explain what you're going to be doing in Southeast Asia and what is this project called?
It is called the Canadian Gateway for Nuclear Development in the Indo-Pacific. And you might remember that when we launched the strategy, I announced that we would have a Canadian Gateway here in the Indo-Pacific. And in the course of that work, in the course of talking to and meeting with the many, many countries and economies in the region, it became really clear that as these economies and countries grew, as they grew, whether it's their manufacturing bases or their economies, they were going to consume more energy. They were going to need to consume more energy, not only just to increase their capacity in their growth, but that also means the capacity for people and their households. So as we were having these very, very important dialogues bilaterally, but also multilaterally, whether it's through ASEAN or here at the APEC, it was clear that not only did they need energy and that energy security was necessary, that it needed to be clean. And while they are looking at a range of mixes here, nuclear was going to be an energy mix that was going to be needed. And as they are also looking, and in this region, there's a lot of work being done on how to grow the digital economy. So whether it's AI, quantum, and just the need for data centers that actually come up to support businesses, in order to run those, they require another real substantive amount of energy. So nuclear came up in that context, and then we just sort of connected the dots, right? Canada is a tier 1 nuclear country. We have the expertise, we have regulatory expertise, we have human capital expertise, we have the supply chain that is built in Canada. Let's not forget about CANDU that we have been selling and providing to around the world. They're of course working on the Monarch now, but also small modular reactors. We produce uranium, non-enriched uranium. Also another feature that's really attractive to many of the countries in this region. So over the last recent years, we have been working on this, and it has culminated in now the Gateway for Nuclear Development here for the Indo-Pacific, and we're going to work with our colleague countries.
The Indo-Pacific strategy, when it came out 2 years ago, the only mention of nuclear is proliferation or freedom of nuclear. Nuclear tech wasn't really mentioned in that. How much of it is a reflection of what you heard from these countries? How much much of it is just how much the world has changed in 2 years?
It's both. In the course of developing the gateway and how we were going to stand that up, that happened in tandem with what was happening in the economies of these countries, including ours. There's a lot of talk back home about AI, the amount of energy it will consume, data centers to build the economy of today and the future, and how much energy that's going to require. In Canada, we have cold climate. Fantastic to actually do nuclear in the cold climate, but here in the region, there will be different solutions for sure. But that is why having a gateway, having a center here in the region that's going to work with our partners. I mean, and some of them are going to look for partnerships on training. Some is going to look for partnerships on the research that might be needed. Some are going to look for the capacity and just understanding what it takes to to have the kinds of regulations that protect that balance safety, but also energy production. So a multitude of sort of a multitude of needs, but it really came out organically because of the needs of the region, the need for energy supply that is green, and just the growth of economies, and then looking to Canada as the place because of the expertise that we have.
Minister, I was wondering, you were going to see Prime Minister Trudeau's team at G20. What is the strategy? You do need India as a trading partner, so how are you going to call relations? Can you give us something concrete in terms of what will be done?
I think that I've been really concrete. I put out a statement not that long ago to indicate to Canadian businesses in particular that the economic relationship between Canada and India has been a long-standing one, and that I, as their trade minister, they can count on me to work with them to make sure that that they are able to continue to do the work that they do in India, and my Trade Commissioner service continues to remain available to our businesses that are operating in India, and that will continue.
Last question, please.
No, but are you doing? Okay? So you're maintaining relations with India, but what about the idea of a trade mission? That was something that was in the works before all this came. So we're not asking how you're maintaining relations, but what are you doing to promote new growth?
Well, let me tell you what I'm doing to promote new growth, because I'm going to bring trade missions to Philippines and Indonesia in 3 weeks from now. I am going to be in Thailand, I'm going to be in Cambodia, I'm going to be in Australia, I'm going to be back in Singapore. So I have a chock block full of trade missions scheduled right into 2025. So I would say to Canadian businesses that there are many markets in the world, that is in North America, that is in Europe, and certainly that is here in the region. And I intend to work very, very robustly, as I have always done, to help Canadian businesses grow. You are seeing that whether it is companies like BlackBerry, who's developing incredible cybersecurity capabilities, be the provider of choice to a country like Malaysia. But I have got many trade missions coming up into 2025, and I fully intend to bring those companies into this part of the world to help them grow.
Minister, we know the incoming Trump administration is very focused on China. Robert Lighthizer is focused on China. Donald Trump's focused on China. To stay on good terms with them, is Canada going to have to keep getting tougher and tougher and adding more of its own tariffs to stay on good terms with the incoming Trump administration?
I don't want to, guess what we might do, but I think what I would say, and what you've seen us do, is align with the United States with respect to 100% EV tariffs, tariffs on EVs, 25% on steel and aluminum, because we share a similar concern. What's that concern? Overcapacity, labor standards, environmental standards that are really important to Canadian workers and certainly American workers. We're going to keep monitoring this and to work through this, but you have seen Canada take action where we needed to take action, and I guess my final point is that this is important work that we're going to need to keep doing, and I look forward to meeting with my new American counterpart when that is when that appointment is made, and I will I will for sure, as we have always done, work with the U.S. administration. It's just simply too big of a trading relationship for us to not put the attention that we absolutely need to protect Canadian jobs, to protect Canadian industries in this important relationship.
Thank you.
Thanks.